Great fucking start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lumberslayer and Friends podcast. Yeah.
Who's this guy?
We got Merlin back. I am your host, the one true Lumberslayer, Alex Abashan, joined as always by Adam Friedman.
Yo.
Merlin back in the house.
Thanks for having me.
Say hello to the lovely people.
Hello, everybody.
Lovely
man. People.
Every episode starts with beer. Adam, what are we drinking today?
Our good friend Merlin brought some treats.
I like to find weird things out in my travels and then just stock them up in case I get invited back. So yeah, my latest travels over the summer took me up to Petoskey and Harbor Springs, Michigan. I found, is it Pond Hill? Is that the name of it?
Apparently it's Tunnel Vision Brewery, but it says Pond Hill Farm.
It's Pond Hill Farm. Yeah, that's the winery, I guess. But yeah, they do a bunch of farm-to-table stuff. There's a cool restaurant there, and they make very strange beers that are all double entendres. So
this looks really good. So Wee Heavy Sweater Puppies Scottish Ale, 8.5. I didn't realize it was quite.
It's pretty tanky.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was quite that high.
We gonna crank it up.
That's what she looks like.
Yeah, it's a nice looking bottle. I like a glossy label. Chappelle.
Do they not all come very glassy these days?
Some do, some don't.
Huh. Yeah, I'm sort of out on beer myself. This will be more beer than I've had in months.
It's gonna be great. Everything's gonna turn out wonderful.
Yeah, sure.
Nothing's gonna go wrong at all. Don't worry. Oh fuck.
Thank you for sharing.
Before we hit this real quick, not that we wouldn't have Merlin back anyways, but the reason specifically why he's back is he took umbrage to a comment made.
That's true.
The last Lumberslayer and Friends podcast.
We beefing.
We beefing hard. So we got to get into that later. But gentlemen, cheers to beers.
Cheers.
Thanks for being here, sir.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
We are happy to have you.
Oh man, I do like a Scottish ale. They're so creamy.
That's yummy.
For as caramely as it is, it's pretty light. You can see pretty well through it.
I think caramel is the right.
Don't hold back your giddiness. You're so excited this is not an IPA. You can't even contain it right now. Everyone knows I love me an IPA, so we've had a lot of them the last few months. So
I've been a little bit burnt out on them.
Really?
Yeah, it's not that they're bad, and like the thing about it is the idea of it sounds so much worse to me than the actual execution.
So good once it hits your lips.
Right, you're happy again. But it's fucking funny too because I find myself like my go-to's been M43 all fucking summer.
Oh yeah.
So,
don't tell Ben.
Yeah, don't tell Ben.
That's a yummy beer though.
It is, but like
it's the IPA that destroys my palate though, right? Like that's
yeah, it's juice to the max.
Yeah, there's a lot of acid content. But M43 has replaced Oberon as my
that's impressive
summer go-to. So
well, they got the cost in the 4-pack way down.
Yeah.
Like I feel like back in the day it was like $16.99 or $17.99. Now you can get it for like $13.
it's production run.
So, I mean, they've got the availability down. But it is kind of nice to have something malty, and this is really good. So what was you guys actually went there, right?
Yeah, well, we ate whenever we go on vacation. Of course, we try to find interesting places to go to eat, and this restaurant had a bunch of beet heavy things because it's a farm as well, and my wife loves beets, so she
was
said
it Shroot Farms?
But yeah, so yeah, the restaurant was actually quite good as well. But yeah, while we were there, they had quite a few beers actually. I just grabbed a couple of the more interesting looking ones. There was another beet. They had two beet style beers. We're gonna drink one later, but the other one I didn't grab because it wasn't as beet forward. I think it was a beet stout or something like that.
Ooh.
It was, but it wasn't as beet forward. The other one I grabbed is super beety. So
Are beets like a Michigan thing? Because I was just talking to Aunt Mo last night. She was telling me about up in Caseville, Adam and Meg were at a beet farm. I don't know if that's like a Michigan thing or.
I don't. Cherries and apples have been the big Michigan.
I think beets are just sort of they're
easy.
basic. Yeah, I think you can grow them anywhere temperate. I feel like. I only say that because sugar beets are a thing. Like some sugar comes from beets, and they're like a cash crop. You can grow them in a lot of places. They're easier to grow than like sugar cane in northerly climates and things like that. I only know that because I read a book that featured beet farming.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people that were going, oh shit, these are some fresh ass beats.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, unless it's by Dre, in which case.
yeah.
One of my favorite stupid Tumblr pages. Have you ever seen the Beats by Dre Tumblr page? I don't know if it's still
No.
a thing.
No.
It's just photoshops of Dr. Dre with bowls of beats. Like it's real dumb, but I love it.
That's fair. Okay. Did you notice the M19 or 119 in the eye of the logo? Biting a little style, maybe?
Harbor Springs is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I've been there several times. I love looking at the wealthy people's boats
Yes.
in the harbor.
It's pretty shishi.
I wanted to give you a big bravo on the YouTube stuff.
Oh, on my channel?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, the variety is really fucking nice on those, dude.
It's pretty intense.
It's cool.
So
I like what you're doing.
you-
Yeah, your content put out is fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, well, I'm getting to a tough
Output.
part in the year.
Yeah.
Because I already knew. So for those who don't know, I have a YouTube channel called the Static. It's actually my band Static Factory's YouTube channel.
we're gonna go over all the projects here in just a minute.
There's a lot, but anyway, I'm running a YouTube channel that my band, and I decided I know hundreds of covers and dozens of original songs even. So I decided I'd just do a song every day for a year, which, in hindsight, may have been a mistake, but because now I'm in it and I've done 240 videos.
I'd say ambitious, not a mistake.
Yeah. But anyway, it's been fun, and I've subcategorized them all so that I'm doing pop hits some days and Americana, so country stuff, and but yeah, and sometimes with a band, sometimes I'm playing the drums, sometimes I'm on a guitar.
Yeah, so which brings me to the list of projects.
Oh, yeah.
Because we all know I'm a fan of heavy music. So when you post stuff from the Smoke Some Jam and you're covering Megadeth,
Sure, there's a bunch of those.
what was the one that I really liked? The Symphony of Destruction was a freaking
yeah.
awesome video.
Yeah.
I was like headbanging in my basement. I was like, Jesus Christ, you guys
Yeah.
crushed that.
Yeah, that's a fun one to play, actually.
What do you mean you like Megadeth?
Yeah, we did Sweating Bullets too, and that song's awesome. I didn't love it as much until I started playing the drums to it, and then I was like, oh yeah, this song's sweet. Yeah.
So is there any possibility of Static Factory? Like, is there anything going on there?
Oh no, Static Factory's playing this month. We're actually returning from the dead now.
Wow.
We have awakened from torpor. Yeah, we've got 2 gigs this month. We're playing in Lapeer on the 7th, and then we're playing in Hazel Park actually on the 20th.
Hell yeah.
We wanted to hit up that Hazel Park show to be
Indeed.
right around the corner here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a good show. I'm pretty excited about it. But yeah, Static Factory's once again. We got a new drummer. We do this thing where we lose our drummer, and then we play acoustic for like a year.
At least
while
there's a
we're looking-
backup.
While we're looking for another drummer, and then we find a new drummer, and he's ready to rock, and we booked a few shows. So.
I mean, Merlin, you can definitely play the guitar, sing, and play the drums all at the same time. Come on.
Yeah. That's the problem. I'm not doing enough. We've isolated the issue.
You know what I miss? Like, I don't miss it because I wasn't there for the era, but like, when the fuck did the one-man band suit go out?
Oh no, it's still there. I've seen some real performers.
I've seen a couple, not like recently, but in the last handful of years, that are actually really, really good.
Yeah.
Few things entertain me as much as the one-man band suit.
There is a woman named, I think her name's Jamie Marvin. I've never actually seen her play, but she's like a solo artist up in Lake Orion, Lapeer, so up in sort of the northern reaches. And she plays with like a cajon, the drum box, with a series of pedals attached to it so that she can play it with her feet while she's playing her acoustic guitar and sing. And it's
wild.
intense.
It's wild.
She's got a harmonica. It's crazy.
It's pretty dope.
There's no way I could like handle that.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a.
I have trouble. I do a lot with like my loop pedals and stuff like that. On some of those videos, I'm doing loops and sort of, retracking things while I'm playing it. And even that is pretty intense. It takes a lot of rehearsal to just get one song where I'm doing a loop
I can imagine.
sort of timed right. So the idea that you could play a 3-hour show like that is it's a lot.
I think you posted just in your excitement for the new Tool album.
Yeah.
You did Undertow on the electric guitar
Yeah.
video. That was pretty well done.
Yeah, well, I learned to play guitar originally like 15 or 20 years ago on Tool riffs. So because I was such a Tool fan when I was younger, the first electric guitar I bought, I just basically downloaded every bit of Tool tab I could find on the internet and just learned riffs. I very rarely learned songs, but Undertow was one of the songs I learned. I don't know why, all the way through. So I've actually known that for 15 years on guitar, and every once in a while I just play it to see if I know it, and I always do, which is weird because it's a complicated. There's a bunch of weird stuff going on in that song, but yeah, I love that track. I don't know why.
That's cool. So, let's segue there. I believe we compared Tool to Two Hearted Ale.
You called me basic, is what you did.
I don't think we called you basic.
I think you interpreted something that we didn't say. So you got a little sensitive there. I think your comment to me was
triggered.
That your comment was that some people set it for less, and that was absolutely not our point. I apologize. You took it that way. But there's a reason that Two Hearted Ale wins awards year after year after year. So this is a great beer.
I feel the actual distinction is that I feel like Two Hearted is a very basic beer, and you seem to think that Two Hearted is actually.
I think it's a very exceptional IPA.
Yeah. The availability is ridiculous.
Right.
Especially in this state. But
maybe that's the issue we have.
But I mean, I think that the band Tool, I'm trying to dance around this whole it's way too mainstream, because that's not what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Because Tool is outstanding, and there's a reason that there's so much hype about this new album, and there's a lot of excitement, and they've made us wait 13 years, and so I think that plays a big part of it too, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think the world of Tool, and I think the world of Two Hearted. And in fact, we were going to try to get Double Two Hearted to drink here today, but
make it?
There's nowhere to be found.
Supply is low.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it'll come out in waves, so we'll eventually get some. But this first wave, it was not going to happen.
That's too bad.
It is a bummer. We had it. Em and I took a beer trip. It's probably 2 years ago now. More?
I think it was probably 2017. So
okay, and went out to the Comstock.
Nice.
Tap room and had a couple Double Two Hearteds. Fucking tasty beer.
Oh yeah.
Well made.
Yeah, I'm excited to have that in bottles, see what it's like, because when we had it there, I mean, when you drink Double Two Hearted and you're already drunk, it's a different experience. So
that's true.
Double Two Hearted seems out of control if you're already drunk. It's like a friend of mine once told me, what was he drinking? Was it Dragon's Milk?
Mm-hmm.
One of these bourbon barrel aged sort of stouts. He said, "Hey man, you can't pound those," and I'm like, "No shit, bro." He's like, "I had 4 of them in an hour the other night." Why? Why would you do that?
You get cranked. I had the orange Dragon's Milk the other day. It was fucking stupendous.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
I like Smaug's Breath, jalapeno or whatever, or habanero, whatever it is, the sort of spicy Dragon's Breath. I don't like a lot of those spicy beers, but for whatever reason, the Smaug's Breath works for me.
Yeah, I've had a couple that are good. A lot of them are just so-so.
Yeah, it's something about the spice. You have to hit it just right, or it's either too much or not enough. But yeah.
Well, I had a stout that was chocolate and habanero.
Yeah.
And that meshed really, really nicely. Yeah. I forget what brewery or what beer that was, but scrumptious.
Mm-hmm. Go figure. The Mayans knew what the fuck they were talking about when they mixed the chocolate and the spice, man. It's a nice combination.
What was this? Sorry, we're going to get into Tool here in just a minute. Tell me about Predatory Lenders.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my other projects. So about a year ago, I was playing in my band Smoke Some and Jam Some with my friend Dan, who plays bass. I play drums in that band. And he said, "I'm really a guitar player." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I play a lot of other stuff. I play acoustic guitar. I play bass. Let's do a duet sometime." So we booked a show before we had any songs. Up at the Outlaw Bar where we play, the Corona Road Bar, that they'll book all sorts of local acts, even if they have nothing going for them, I guess. But they gave us a shot, and we came, we played a show, and our drummer for Predatory Lenders happened to be there to see the band we were opening for after us. And our whole set, it was all covers, but our whole set, he was jumping up and down at the bar "I wish I was playing drums. You guys are rad. This is amazing." And there's a drum set there at the CRB, so we get off stage, and he says, "Next time you guys play, let me know, and I'm playing your drums for you." And so we booked another show. I sent him a set list, so he knew what songs we were playing, and no rehearsals. He came and just crushed.
Wow,
that's cool.
And so now we're a band. But yeah, we've been playing a lot this year, and actually we just booked an originals gig, so we have to write a bunch of music in the next few months. So because we don't have any yet.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's exciting. It's a power trio, so I play the bass, and Dan and I both sing. Tony does a little singing on the drums too. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And all these projects, I don't know how you keep it straight.
Well, I don't know. I just don't do anything else. It used to be that I was sort of diverse. I would do this, and I'd play video games and do all these other things. This year is just music.
Yeah.
I'm doing nothing but playing guitar and bass and drums, writing songs all year long, pretty much.
Thanks for coming out to do a podcast then.
Yeah, this is a break.
Diversify.
Yeah, your kids crack me up on the channel too. They do the intro every time.
They're a lot of fun.
It's hilarious.
I couldn't do a YouTube channel without integrating them because they love you. Right, kids love YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so when I thought of the channel, I was like, well, I gotta rope them in somehow, or I'm never gonna be able to do this. Like, they're either gonna break in halfway through the year, whether I like it or not, or I should just pull them in early. So.
Like, share, subscribe every time.
I swear, it's like a thing on every channel, though, right? I don't know.
Yep. Maybe we should start doing it on ours.
I should. Can you do the point game where you're like, right there, that's where it is.
Right here.
Hey, there's that.
Yeah, I don't know. You're pointing at my crotch there. That's weird.
That's right there,
You're
man.
supposed to put a thumbs up right here.
That's what you subscribe to. I'll tell you that right now.
We'll put a box right here.
Fuck. Can you do orange screen? Is that a thing?
Orange screen?
Orange screen instead of green screen?
You can do some pretty cool green screen on even an iPhone these days. It's pretty wild.
The future is now. I'll tell you that right now.
This would be perfect setup for orange screen.
That's what it really
Like-
Oh
would.
yeah, is that?
Guys in orange suits.
It doesn't work like that. I wish it did. It'd be fun. We could do some cool backgrounds. We ready to get into this?
Let's dive in. It's a monster.
The Tool record?
It's gonna be brutal.
I mean, it's Tool, right? They can do whatever they want. Freaking hour and 26 minutes.
It's a huge record.
There's so much to cut into. I mean, a couple of these tracks could have been their own little EP. I mean, it's
dense.
yeah.
Everybody did all the little interludes and stuff, right?
I listened to the whole thing all weekend obsessively, which is weird for me.
So before we do it, let Lumberslayer take a moment to bitch about the packaging.
Oh God.
Did you get it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I didn't either. I tried a little bit.
Number one, they priced me out of it.
It's tough. $60, $50.
And that's on the low end.
Yeah.
I saw it on eBay going for like as much as $120.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Which I think is absurd, but that's what it is. Interesting choice, especially after 10,000 days, to package with a 4-inch LED screen with a charger.
Yep.
32-page booklet, fold out.
I'd be interested to see it.
Madness. I'd be interested to see it too, but holy shit.
I know someone who has it. Adam knows someone who has it, technically.
I do.
Your girl Meredith bought it.
Oh shit.
I didn't even know she was a Tool fan.
She gets it.
So if I get my crazy standard jewel case, I will pick it up, but
It's not happening, man. It's just
I don't know, dude. I got 10,000 days.
Hey, we're all good because Tool's on Spotify.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, no.
No?
I'm straight. If you haven't noticed,
I did notice.
physical format is my thing.
I'm so bad at Spotify.
That's weird. Like,
You just click play, man.
It didn't work. I tried.
did they announce a vinyl release?
They haven't yet. So when I went to go buy the physical copy, because I realized that I was going to be sort of, I don't know if I'm the representation of a Tool fuckboy on the podcast, but I sort of figured I would be. And I actually tried a little bit to get it, even though I wouldn't normally buy it. I went to my friendly local vinyl retailer that also sells CDs.
Shout them out. What is it?
Electric Crown Records in Flint.
There you go.
Mike Plosher runs the place. He's a cool dude. He told me, one, they're only releasing it on CD for now, and there's no vinyl release planned. He tried to wrangle a vinyl release date out of his distributor, and his distributor was cagey about it, so it might be coming out. He said check out upcoming record store days, maybe. So there's an upcoming record store day on Black Friday after Thanksgiving.
Correct.
They might do a sneaky release then, maybe, but you didn't hear it from me. You did hear it from me, but yeah, I don't know. It's all rumor. But I hope they do. Honestly, I hope they re-release their old catalog because I have every Tool record on wax except Inema, which is really hard to find. It's like a $200. You have to buy a collector's.
Whoa.
Yeah, you have to spend $200 on eBay for Anima, which is
That's
nuts.
brutal.
It's my favorite Tool record, and I can't get it on wax.
Your record collection's very respectable.
Well, I mean, it started with a heist, so a lot of those were harvested from someone else's collection.
When things do calm down with all the music, which will probably never happen, but when they do, we're gonna spend more time listening to records together and drinking. So that's gonna happen.
Sure.
Did I ever tell you about the Paul CD collection that he gave me?
Because you don't have enough.
I want to say we did talk about that, but I don't really remember.
So my guitar player from my last band, I had a gigantic fucking CD collection, and he was like, "Hey, you want my CDs?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
Of course I do.
So handed me over like 3 moving boxes of CDs, and I was fucking super stoked. Just like, whatever you don't want, and I'll take it back, but anything you want, go for it. So homeboy's been collecting since CDs became a thing, so he's got shit forever. So everything has wear of CDs that you would have over the years, throwing them around, putting them in your guitar or your car and whatnot. He's a smoker. Everything had smoke damage.
Oh man.
Some of them had water damage. Like,
wow.
It was no less than like 800 CDs, and out of it I got like 5. I was so bummed. Just everything was like beat to shit. I was so fucking bummed by it. He had a original copy of Killing Is My Business that had these boots on it, which was a very limited run because they didn't get the rights to it, and they pulled that. It was unplayable. So fucking bummed about it. So bad times.
I don't know anything about CD repair. I know there's like cleaners you can get and stuff. But
You can take layer. It's if the scratches are on the surface layer of the plastic, you can grind them down.
Okay.
Wet sand.
Right, because there's like a thin layer that's essentially nothing on the bottom or whatever.
Right. The top of the CD is painted over. It's usually a thin layer of plastic and then painted over to protect the actual information. And the most of the thickness of the CD is protecting the information on the CD. So you can take down a lot of it. But if the scratches are too deep or there's scratches on top, you're fucked.
Oh. Yeah, the scratch on top, I remember that being a real issue.
Yep. That's where all your information is.
In Florida, if you left your CDs in the car in the sun, no bueno.
Oh, it just melts them like, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some horror stories.
Oh, man.
Okay, so I'm going to be the beer runner here.
Okay.
And when I get back, full Fear Inoculum.
We're going full fear?
We're going full fear. So when you do the vinyl collecting, like everybody does, are you like a color vinyl guy? Do you like anything? Are you a picture disc guy?
I don't know. I'm mainly in it for the music. I'm less in it for the sort of the pretty vinyl. I did buy recently. I bought Typo Negative released. They re-released Bloody Kisses on colored vinyl. It's like green vinyl with sort of a black swirl in it, and it looks cool. Sure. And I bought a Mars Volta picture disc, a single. By the way, the Mars Volta, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but their record "Delouse in the Comatorium" is another one that I really want on vinyl. But the one time I've seen it, it was a $300 buy, and I was like, "Oh no, but it's on silver vinyl, like it's gorgeous."
That stuff. You fuck with Discogs?
No.
Are you familiar with Discogs?
Oh, Discogs, the app? Yeah, I'm sorry, I misheard you.
Okay.
I do have Discogs.
Right on.
I've got Discogs all up in my business. It's so good. I honestly, I can't keep track. Like, your wall of CDs is such that you can look at your wall and go, do I have Rammstein? Yes, I do. Do I have radio? Yes, I do. My vinyl collection, because they're all big and in 4 different places, I don't know what I have. Like, there's times when I'm like, did I buy that, or did I just look at it 3 times in the record store and then I'm not going to spend $25 on this today.
I've had that problem.
So yeah, Discogs has been a lifesaver because I know when I own a thing now.
The Discogs marketplace has ruined my life.
You want to do honors?
That I can't deal with the marketplace.
It's such bad news for me.
You actually use it? You like buy stuff on it? And
Constantly.
Really?
Yes, it's the worst thing that's
Is
ever
that where you're
happened
getting your underground jewel cases?
to me. No, well, yes and no. I've got a shady Russian hookup for bootleg. So for some,
Do you trade blue jeans for CDs?
I don't yet. But I will be offering him this because it's beets, and you know how the Russians go with the beets. Oh fuck. But Russia will do these limited bootleg releases of American records.
Really?
Yeah, and they're like limited runs, but nobody buys them because it's Russia, I guess. So I am able to get like a Tool 10,000 Days. I can get in the jewel case from Russia, buy the CD here, replace the CD, but have the packaging. All for two stupid pieces of paper.
But then you don't have the 3D images in there with the goggles.
But I still own that.
Oh.
But I also have the jewel case because it all looks pretty. It's all jewel case, Merlin. There's the cat. Hey, Rick. So we are moving on to.
I don't know. I don't know about this one.
This is one with the beets, so.
Master Beet Pale Ale. Wow, that's clever.
Yeah, they're very, very smart.
I'm noticing a dirty trend here.
Yeah, must be the Northern Michigan thing going on up there.
I'm liking the hippie nerd riding the beat. Crushing it.
I wouldn't have bought the other one if it wasn't a Sweater Puppies joke. I've always thought that's a good euphemism.
That beer was damn good.
I thought it was
really
tasty.
That.
Yeah, we didn't even try that one. I just sort of sight unseen thought I would.
Ooh, look at the color there.
That looks like it's made of beets.
It for real is.
It's straight pink.
So to loop this back around to Tool, I mean, do you think that the 13-year hiatus had something to do with such a massive offering here at damn near an hour and a half?
I feel like it's gotta be. It's huge.
I don't.
I mean, why?
No.
I'm sure they have their reasons on the personal side of things, but why not either break it into a 2-album thing or save some stuff for later? Or I mean, it's like it's a little bit uncomfortably long for me because I prefer to sit for a shorter period of time to listen to an album. I mean, right around that 45-minute mark for the most part is my sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then a lot of albums are about that length, so maybe that's just like a comfort thing. But I mean, it's long.
It feels way the fuck too cohesive to me to feel like it's been in production for a crazy length of time.
Oh, you think it would be more chaotic if they'd been in and out? And
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's my thought on it, but I mean,
it is really cohesive, though. I think I agree. It's meticulously like plotted, which means And Tool's always done that thing where I feel like they do this thing where they look at a CD and go, how much music can we put on this thing? Sure. And they're like, well, we wrote 83 minutes. Let's add 4 interstitial songs that are non-songs that we're just scraping our picks across a guitar string, or you know what I mean, like doing weird noises.
There's a couple of those, yeah.
Yeah, they do that on every record. I feel like they look at a CD. They did it on Lateralus. Lateralus, I think, is 88 minutes. They look at a CD and go, how much can we put on it? We're using all of it.
Sure.
We're buying these CDs. We're putting every minute something on there. But they've done that for years. So it makes it tougher on vinyl, though, because I have Lateralus and 10,000 Days on vinyl, and then they have to be reordered usually because the order of the songs for length
doesn't match up
on
with
the
your
side
sides.
flip. Yeah. Which is weird because you know they're meticulously plotted so that they're in a particular order, and then on vinyl they're almost all different, which is weird.
The process of putting a record for vinyl format is fucking crazy, especially by today's standards. Well, you alluded to it earlier. You got to make it so that it works for all the flip sides, and you got to worry about packaging weight. If you're going to do an album of this length, are you really going to put 3 discs?
Yeah. No, that's true.
Then crate that up, and then you can only put so many in a box to send.
Right. And if it's vinyl, is it going to have a 32-page booklet like the CD does?
Right. So.
That does not smell like a pale ale.
All right. Well, let's give this a shot.
Oh, yeah. I
quick,
haven't had it
gentlemen.
yet.
Cheers.
It smells like a beet, though. Spicy.
It's really earthy.
Yeah. Earthiness for sure.
It doesn't drink like a pale.
It's still got the hoppiness to it, but the beets cut into it. That earthiness is... Huh.
I'm getting, like, no sweetness
Interesting.
at all, which I kind of expected a little bit.
Yeah. It's actually better than I remember. It's very... I don't know if the camera can see it, but it's very sort of raspberry colored. It's...
Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of that. It's like, I've never had anything like this.
That was the idea. But yeah, that earthiness in the beets is real forward.
Tastes like a Michigan basement. Fucking cat.
Man.
It's all over it.
I thought that the intro on that first track was perfect for a 13-year hiatus.
Sure, a slow burn.
To bring it back, and it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds for 2 minutes.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on in that intro too. I re-listened to it today on the way here and sort of paid more attention to it. But that weird like cello effect, they're doing like volume swells and there's a lot happening. Like performing that live is gonna be a pain in the ass.
They put a lot of keys on this record.
Yeah.
There's a little more than
synth.
usual.
Yeah, it's
Maynard plays that live. He's got a mini keyboard.
Does he?
Yeah, I've seen him a few times live, and on 10,000 Days there's a little bit of keys too. He's just got a little deck though. It's maybe one of those mini keyboards with maybe 24 keys on it that he just, and you can barely see him because of course he's in the dark. He's never illuminated. But yeah, on a couple of the songs like on Rosetta Stone, I know there's keys and things like that from 10,000 Days.
Right.
I really liked the toms and the bongos.
Oh man!
On this track, I really it was like the standout.
There's so much fucking hand percussion and bells on this record.
Yes.
It's fucking insane.
It's cool though.
Yeah, it's man. I got an argument, an internet argument, which is the best place to argue with somebody. But one of the local Flint guys posted something. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna do some drum covers on my YouTube channel. Is there any suggestions?" And I said, "Hey, do something off Anima. And he's like, "Ugh, Danny Carey's so white." I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know anybody.
What the hell does that mean?
I think he's just saying he's like a square. He lumped him in with Neil Peart.
Okay.
He's one of those white guy drummers who's very good, but he doesn't have great rhythm. And I'm like, I don't know any metal or prog drummer who's more African inspired than like those tablas are straight off the continent. And there's African rhythms all over this record, and really the last Tool record.
Well, I mean, it's Tool, right? So the rhythm section for me is the standout.
Oh man!
Like on this record, outside of like two examples, the guitar and Maynard's vocals are sort of an afterthought for me. The bass, this album's about the bass and the drums, and they are wicked.
Yeah, they're really gnarly.
Especially on track 2. Is it Pneuma?
It's Pneuma. I think,
Pneuma.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he says Pneuma in the.
I mean, that's rhythm porn.
It really is. I was listening to it on the way here, and I listened to Pneuma again, and the polyrhythms, like I feel like I can latch onto the guitar. I'm like, oh, I can count this out. The guitar's in 11 or whatever. But then I was trying to play the drums with it the other night, and I'm like, where is he? Like he's counting it. He's counting that 11 different than Adam Jones is counting the 11. Like, and so like they're in sync and out of sync. It's nuts. I feel like Danny Carey on this record is doing a version of the drum breakdown to 46 and 2 from Anima, like 2/3 of the record.
Interesting.
Everybody else is holding down the rhythm so that he can just disappear into drum fills, and it's wicked.
Did either of you think that Pneuma played a little bit too much like Vicarious?
Pneuma? It didn't get there for me.
The bass line is like borderline the same.
Is it? It's close. I know what you mean. Close. That did cross my mind, but it's its own thing at the same time. But I definitely know what you mean. There are moments on this record, kind of throughout actually, where I almost feel like it's Tool just like spoon feeding the infant that is their fans. Like, are you happy with this? Like, because it's exactly like if you're a Tool fan, this is exactly what you want.
See, it felt like
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, it's almost like if you're a Led Zeppelin fan, what Greta Van Fleet does for you. Like, they're so Led Zeppelin that it's almost overwhelming.
It felt a lot like the more open Tool tracks, but with hand percussion and bells put over top of it. And a lot of bling.
Yeah, but that signature Tool thing is so there, and it's so.
I think this album is a lot less intense than. There's a lot of. I'll tell you right now that the Flint rock community doesn't love this record. There's a lot of Flint guys who love Tool, and we're like,
aren't you like the representation of the Flint rock community though?
Here, yes.
So I think you're the voice.
I'm not. Yeah. There's a lot of guys who are like, oh, this is a cash grab, or oh, this is. But by the way, there's no way you write 11-minute songs that are going to be a pain in the ass to record and perform as a cash grab. That are in 11/8 segue to 7/8 segue. Like these are so meticulously put together. It's crazy. But they want more of that aggressive stuff. They like They like opiate. They like anima. They want the really heavy, sort of in your face stuff.
This guy.
Yeah. So in that way, I think it's not what a lot of Tool fans want. I think a lot of Tool fans want more Stinkfist. They want more eulogy. You know, they want more in your face screaming.
Do you want to back this up, or you want to keep rolling it?
Let's go deep. So let's back up.
Okay. So we'll start with title track, first track.
Fear Inoculum.
Yes. Crazy Asian vibes on this intro.
Yeah, it's just I would say like general Eastern.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about this because I don't know a ton about music theory, but I feel like because Tool is often playing in drop D and they're doing the whole, they do a lot of open stuff. I know Justin Chancellor likes to do bass lines where he's hitting an open string and then, which is odd for a bass player, but he's playing such punchy bass he can sort of get away with it. But I feel like because of that, they take a lot of they move into different modes. You used to be a music guy, right? Where it's
I know a little bit about music.
Yeah. I don't know if you're super deep into theory as a drummer. I used to be.
No.
But where it's like they want to play with a lot of open D's and A's because that's what their sort of bread and butter is. But they don't just want to write everything in D or D minor, and so they're moving into like Locrian modes or Lydian modes, things like that. And that's what this feels like to me. It feels like they're just playing a slightly different scale that lets them sit on those open D's.
Sure.
There's a lot of that in Tool.
Sitting on those D's.
Yeah, just jamming on D's.
So definitely sets up the album for what you're going to get. You're going to get these soundscape openings to almost every single track.
That's true.
And it's going to be big and open, and we're going to keep it mellow for the most part on the whole record.
It doesn't get super intense.
No, not at all.
I mean, Tempest is pretty rad.
Tempest is a masterpiece.
Right on. I really like the choruses on the song.
I do too.
Getting those like Maynard's spoken word vocals, he does it well. Like it's hard to beat Maynard vocals. What he does is special, and I'm always happy with it.
I will say, as a guy who writes songs sometimes in non-time signatures, though, like it's a bear to find space to sing in weird rhythms sometimes, and sometimes the like spoken word fits better, or the sort of staccato delivery. It's really hard to sing long notes when you've got to end them in weird spots. I don't know. I have trouble when I'm writing on-time signature songs as a vocalist sometimes. But he does it pretty well for the most. Although, as you said, he's sort of spare. There's not a ton of Maynard on.
Exactly.
Really
He's not all over this album. He's sort of plugged in and,
He's picking his
pulls
spots.
out. And, exactly. So, there's that part of it too. For me, where the guitar shines, Maynard also shines.
Mm-hmm.
So on the same tracks, or in some cases in the same sections, the vocals and the guitar are really, really nice in tandem. But for me, the bass and the drums are driving the truck here, big time. I love in the opener, if you're in Inoculum, during the guitar solo, the bass and the bass drum have this unison banging section.
Oh, yeah.
While the guitar is sort of hit with this wah-wah pedal. That was that was probably the peak of the track for me. That was almost right at the end. So
Yeah, the structure of all these songs is also very different. There's not a lot of verse chorus stuff going on,
which for me makes it prog.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should save the genre debate till we usually wait till the end, so I'll just sit on that for another hour, however long it takes to get through this.
And again, like, you kind of show your hand on this track as to how the songs are going to be laid out. It's going to be a very long noisescape
10-minute
intro.
track.
You're going to be mellow through most of the middle. The end is going to get a little bit heavy, and then you're going to just cut. And that's kind of the way the album works for the most part. Did you get Agora vibes on the end of this song? Because I totally did.
Really?
Yep.
Can't say I did.
I did.
But I'm going to say something real weird.
Go ahead.
I was getting a little bit of Dream Theater vibes, and I think, honestly, that was because Dream Theater allowed Tool to influence some of their music in the 90s.
Oh, interesting.
And I have a couple of friends that are going to be falling out of their chairs at that comment. But
the idea that Dream Theater Was influenced by some.
Well, just I don't know. I'll have that conversation another day. But there was probably about 4 sections that are like, man, that reminds me of Train of Thought, or it reminds me of Octavarium by Dream Theater. So but that's interesting stylistically. Obviously Agora sort of has their Eastern influence, but also sort of a South American Latin thing going on too. Right. I mean, Agora's their own thing. But yeah, interesting observation for sure.
It's what I got. Are you hip to Agora?
I don't think so.
Agora's pretty dope.
It's this guy, Santiago Dobles, who I think has, I'm probably completely wrong, some ignorant American. His father was a very well-known composer from something like Venezuela or somewhere down there, and so he has this very, very Latin-influenced background, but he plays it's kind of Florida death metal.
Nice.
His most recent project was with the guys from, fuck me, I can't use my brain today.
That's a great name for a band. Oh.
Pestilence, which I loved. I wasn't so big on it. It's called Haiti. On the album from last year was wicked, and so yeah, and he's kind of like has this very worldly approach to his metal. He's just absolutely wicked guitar player, and his project was called Agora. They had 3 albums, I believe. The best, which is Formless.
Yeah,
wonderful stuff.
I've found that a lot of drummers, when they hit to a certain point, they have to reach for Latin or African like rhythms. You know what I mean? Like you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, I have all the standard sort of 6-tuplets and rolls and all these. I sort of got all that, but then you start looking at world music and you're like, what the fuck are these guys doing? Because it's all a little off. It's just a little different. And then, man, I never got super into it myself as a drummer, but I knew a guy who got super into Latin rhythms, and it just made him sound so wicked when he was doing, if he broke into it.
Oh yeah.
In like a metal song, he'd break into this crazy Latin beat, and I was like, shit.
Yeah, speed and technique play big time.
Yeah.
Moving on to Numa.
Moving on.
Blue Man Group intro. Very much so. Very
man,
paddles hitting PVC pipes and
yeah,
shit.
Was the intro was that acoustic or not? I couldn't really tell. Like there's the light guitar. I don't know if that was technically acoustic.
I don't think it was acoustic. I think it was just clean.
Yeah. If I had to guess.
It was cool though. I absolutely love this track.
I do too.
That intro riff is fucking dope.
I mean, for me, this and Tempest are the highlights of the.
Yeah, Numa's really good. I mean, I've sort of, all of them grown on me quite a bit over the last few days, but like I really like Culling Voices too. Numa, yeah, it's a wild track because again, this is another one that I try to latch onto the rhythm, but every time I try to, I'm like, oh no, they're adding a beat. Every time I feel like I figured it out, they just add an extra beat somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh no, I've got it counted out, and then nope, we're just gonna throw an extra
Go
one.
fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's almost. I feel like that sort of distills Tool for me in a little bit. As soon as I feel like I know what I'm doing, they're like, no, they just pull the rug right out from under me. So
this song does to me what most of the songs do on the record, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the song to like pop.
Sure.
And when it does, it's not a whole hell of a lot of a pop.
Yeah. Less so than other Tool records, I would say.
Right.
Tool used to be about that sort of, I mean, earlier Tool record. Well, Lateralist is a little like this too, but Tool records used to be build up, and then
so by
release.
By pop, do you mean they get heavy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they get super intense.
They give you that big one, and it's also reflected in the vocals. Like you get Maynard doing mellow Maynard and slightly frustrated Maynard, and that's about as deep as he goes on this record. And it's not like he needs to prove anything or anything, but like a couple angry screams I wouldn't have hated on a couple of these tracks.
It's interesting to me because Lateralist has more of the screaming, but 10,000 Days has more of the pop for me. There's not a ton of screaming on 10,000 Days. I feel like it's a lighter record overall. But Lateralist to me, I don't know. I feel like Fear Inoculum and Lateralist are more similar in that there's less sort of intense screaming on both of those records.
Sure.
Songs like The Grudge that are, he's just sort of talking his way through it, stuff like that.
I think this is getting a little sweeter as it warms up.
Yeah, a little bit. It's still like dirty, and it kind of's got a spicy bite to it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of spice.
Yeah, it's earthy, a little bit sweet. And again, I've never had anything like this. This is as unique as they come, I think. That's an interesting one to share, man.
Yeah, that was the idea. But yeah, I like Numa. It's another one of those. I don't know. I read an article by Danny Carey that said it's a very 7-focused record. There's a lot of songs in 7 recently. And so almost all the songs sort of dip into 7 at a certain point. But Numa's the one that it's just all over the map. Like, I feel like the polyrhythms in the song are really intense.
Yeah, I think there's more time signature changes in this song than other tracks.
Yeah.
There's just more happening. The roadmap here is very complicated.
For the record, nobody's killing the cat. It's just making those noises. Want that on the record.
Just a statement.
Officially.
From Lumberslayer LLC.
Jesus Christ.
What did we think of Litany Control La Pour?
My notes say it's jerking off on a synth for 2 minutes.
My notes say screwing around.
Yeah, it's a weird track. Yeah.
If I am not mistaken, these interlude tracks were omitted from the CD version of this.
Oh, really?
And only available in the digital formats.
Oh, interesting.
So,
that's weird.
Take that for what you will.
Because a lot of they do some of these live, which is the weirdest thing. When you're watching them live and they play. So, for instance, before they play Anima on the record, I think I'm trying to think of the name of the track. I think it's Cesaro Some Ability, but like there's a baby screaming in the background, but they actually play that as like an intro track before they play Anima live sometimes, and I'm just like, so this is all part of the song, I guess. Like this means something. Yeah, Litany Against Fear is what the French is there.
There you go. La France. Invincible. I can pronounce that.
I like this track a lot, actually.
Very Tool-y.
It is.
That's the Tool sound.
Yeah, this is the one that has the really weird breakdown where like it's just guitar chunking for like 40 seconds or something, right? Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, it's not super out of place on a Tool record, but it gets real sparse in the middle for a few minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that I kind of want to wait to the end to really have this opinion, but there are some sections where you could have de-bloated the album a little bit, and that I think this track was one of them where you could have gone a little bit shorter, but that's not what Tool is about. They're about
well, and they open it up too. It's one of those things where they did this on a couple of earlier tracks too, where Adam Jones again is holding the rhythm so that Danny Carey can and maybe Justin can go bananas, and so that happens. But when it's just guitar for like 30 seconds, I'm always like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that little weird time change with the solo. I liked it when it's about right in the middle of these tracks that like I really start paying attention and start locking in. And this one's no exception. That little laser synthy section with Robot Maynard going, that was fun. That was a nice little change up.
Yeah, I was wondering whether that's him playing synths or whether like a Tool for a long time made sure they could do everything they perform on a record live.
Right.
So everything is something they can do. So the first couple times I listened to it, I assumed that Adam was looping that guitar track because it's so chunky and there's not a lot going. Like he was looping that and then playing the synth thing with one of his guitar effects.
I remember thinking, is that actually synth or is that guitar?
I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. If Maynard's singing, he usually isn't playing the synth, but I don't know. That's another weird one for me. I'd have to see it live, so before I know.
And there's a cool little like primacy march that happens towards the end. Like there when it's almost got like a "My Name Is Mud" kind of percussive.
And the bass has got that weird delay. Womp, womp, womp. Yeah, I like
My
that.
Name Is Mud is such a delight. I love that fucking song.
It's cool. Tool is Tool. They're gonna show off. Like you're gonna get really cool percussive stuff like this, and this was really. There's so much on this record that like I'm not gonna say it's gratuitous, but
it's approaching it.
It's getting there. But like it really makes these moments shine.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, playing for that reason's nice. So
yeah.
And here we go with another fucking soundscape.
Yeah. Which one's this?
Legion Inoculate.
Yeah, I'm not recalling that one.
Okay, so
It's-
what I jotted down here was it sounds like what someone would hear if you were coming in and out of consciousness.
Interesting.
Okay.
So if you were like unconscious on the couch, due to whatever scenario,
Oh, so you're
and then you're sort of coming in and out, you're conscious
You're
or
fading.
you're unconscious,
nice.
in this sort of waves of,
Awake and asleep.
kind of, yeah. I recently read a book where a guy goes in depth on describing as he's dying.
Okay.
And so he remembers conversations with people in the room, and but at the same time he's internalizing his life, but because he knows he's dying, he had cancer, and it sort of made me think of that.
Nice.
That was far more profound than what I wrote.
Yeah,
so
man.
I'm not even gonna say anything.
I like that. I have very little for this song. I have more for the last few tracks as far as the interstitials.
You're a literature guy. Did you ever read Stoner by John Williams?
I haven't.
Have you heard of it?
No. I was reminded of Kafka's Metamorphosis when you were talking about fading in and out of consciousness.
Wonderful
and stuff.
book.
Yeah. But
We'll talk about that off mic.
fair enough.
This is
That's a
not a
wacky
literature
It's
podcast.
a waggy book.
Shoving apples up asses. Descending. This is the quintessential track that I would have preferred Angry Maynard on.
Oh, interesting.
I really think that that's what this track lacks. This is where I started to tune out the most on the album. And I really think it's where a really strong vocal performance would have
amped it
taken
up.
things up a notch. And especially, it's pretty much the midpoint of the album. I think it's where I think it was a mistake to not go for that. But that's just me. Really cool moment where we get a guitar harmony.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting.
There's like some 70s psychedelic
Yeah.
shit happening, and that's like the big time wah wah pedal. The guitar, this is the first time the guitar really, really shines. I mean, there's the opening with the guitar solo that I like, but it's pretty brief. Here, I mean, he's really wailing and having a ball. Loved that.
Yeah, the guitar solo in the song is really cool. The way the delay his effect, where he's, I don't know exactly what he's doing because I'm not that great at digital effects, but man, it's really sweet.
Like I said, at this point in the album, I was starting to
You have fatigue.
get a little fatigued. Yeah.
It's a lot to digest. I was talking to, again, Mike from Electric Crown, and he's like, man, it's so much to digest.
It is.
It's a lot to deal with. And when it's not punctuated as much by sort of the super intense stuff, it can feel sloggy. I get it.
It's just it's a whole lot of slow builds to not a whole lot of,
As you put it, pop.
yeah. No explosions.
Yeah.
Calling voices.
Yeah, I really like this track. Thematically, I like the rhythm on it a lot. I think Tool does triple meter, because this one's more straight triple meter, but they do triple meter maybe better than, because all these songs are just laced with triplets. You know, all these weird rhythms are triplet based, and I love triple meter, and nobody does it like this. Nobody sinks into these triple meter rhythms. This one's, like I said, this is more straightforward. Just it's in 6 or 12, so it actually sort of hits the triples without. At least most of it. Of course, they dip into 11 or some nonsense in the middle. But yeah, this one, man, I really like this track actually, and it has one of the better vocal hooks on the record.
Well, they get really loud and noisy at the end.
Yeah, it takes about 7 minutes for shit to really start
But I
kicking.
honestly, maybe I wasn't paying attention to the interesting time that was going on in the middle. But this is another section that I thought was maybe a little bit bloated. And because the most interesting part was toward the end. But so I wasn't so excited about this one. It sounds like you really like this one.
Yeah, this was one of my well, honestly, I like most of the tracks on the record. I like I said, I've listened to it a lot this weekend. Though I've listened to it maybe. It's hard to listen to because it's 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
And like I can't tell you how many times I've started Tempest and been interrupted by something. You know, life.
Yeah.
I have to adult quite a bit. It turns out. So, I only listened to Tempest straight through maybe twice, but I've listened to the whole record. 8 or 9 times in a weekend, which is nuts for me. I don't normally sit on it that much, but
That's the...
I don't know. Tool's always like that for me.
Well, there's so much there where it certainly takes multiple listens.
Yes.
Like you can't just spin this one time and be like, I'm good. Like you won't get everything.
Or
first
form an
time.
opinion. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like the whole Flint crowd listened to it once and we're like, well, nothing I can really latch onto except for Tempest. I don't care.
Like watching Donnie Darko. You're not gonna get it the first time, bro. You got to spin that shit again.
Chocolate Chip Trip.
I actually really like this song.
I wish it was just a drum solo. I didn't care for all the
You don't like
little
the triggers?
overlays. Yeah, I wasn't huge over
Yeah,
it.
it's drum porn.
Right.
It really
it's cool.
is.
I thought the... Fuck, dude, you can put Danny Carey on behind a drum kit and I'd fucking listen to him just go nuts for an hour and I'd be fine with it.
That was a complaint I saw on Facebook from one of my my Flint guys too. They're like, I could have used this song without the electronic stuff.
Yeah,
is what
I really think it was intrusive and kind of like for as much hand percussion and bells that were put on the album, I thought those would be a little bit more.
But they're all triggers. He's
Yeah.
not, I mean, he's doing it all on an electronic pad.
Right on. I know they want to do everything that they do live, but
Yeah.
at the same time, fuck, dude, I would have preferred a little bit something more.
See, I really like it because, and maybe it's because I've heard so many drum solos that are just drum set. I feel like, and maybe it's just me, I feel like if you want to next level your drum game, sometimes you want to do that. You want to say, okay, I'm going to overlay these two conflicting rhythms in 7 on triggers, and then I'm just going to segue in and out of it with my kit. I don't know. To me, I don't know. I really like the song because of the triggers. I feel like they add a lot, but like I said, I've heard the complaint. I get it.
I'm a big fan of when a set player has the wood block mounted. So just out of nowhere.
No,
I used to have
wood
those.
blocks are so intrusive.
Classic death metal guy. The guy from Atheist did that a bunch, and the guy who's trying to sound like the guy from Atheist from Defeated Sanity does that. It's awesome.
Or the cowbell and Rage Against the Machine songs randomly. Just random cowbell.
I had a douche kit when I was in high school still, where I had 2 wood blocks and a tambourine and a bunch of effect splashes and a bunch of bullshit. I had 2 snares for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even like a piccolo snare and a regular snare. It was just 2 fucking regular standard
2
14-inch
of the
snares
same
for
snare?
no reason. So fucking stupid. But
Just double the reason to just smash shit, man.
just be an asshole. So fucking dumb, but fun nonetheless. Moving on to 7 Emptist.
Yeah. Tempest.
Nope, 7 Emptist.
7 Empest.
7 Emptist.
Sivempest?
Ooh.
Sivempest? Is
Look at
that
that.
what we're going with? This is the real banger on the record. I
It
feel
really
like.
is. I don't want to be
It's awesome.
that dick, but I would have been so stoked if this was the whole
Yeah,
album.
no. A lot of people said that, and I get it. But yeah, this is the one where there's a lot more growling, there's a lot more intensity, and they're shredding a lot more.
At least they saved it for the end, is what I'll say. If nothing else, to reprieve from...
Yeah, they could have
What you just sat for.
literally just dropped a 15-minute album of just that track.
Right.
And I think people would have just been like,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Oh, for sure.
Very old school Tool start to this. You finally get a vocal attack that's been missing on this entire album. And not that it's been missing from the tracks, because I feel like for the most part they've been appropriate for the tracks. But like I said, there's a couple where I wouldn't have minded a little bit more aggressive Maynard, and we just didn't get it. Here you're getting it. We get those locking instrumentals and driving drums. Finally driving drums, which I've been waiting for. Dope bass and ripping leads, and like it feels like an old school Tool track, which I mean, I don't want to be the dick to be hindering a fucking artist's
But
ambitions, but I really fucking like this track quite a bit. Sorry to be a basic bitch, but fuck, dude,
I thought I was the basic one.
I don't know.
How did this get turned around on me?
There's this layered vocal chanting section on it. It's cool as fuck. Tom's holding with another lead.
I mean, it's the highlight, guys.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to know. I
It's
mean,
quite a good song.
Like, there's a hardness to it that makes it like it's the longest track on the album, and it doesn't feel bloated at all.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it doesn't. That's true. But I don't know. I mean, you say it's a highlight, but I still really like Numa. I still really like.
Yeah,
I don't think those are
Numa,
bad tracks. It's just like
Calling Voices.
we've
Name all the songs.
we've indulged the players this entire fucking time, and it's like finally, all right, here's your fucking bone, guide.
Well, if Tool songs are sort of tension and release, then this album took a long time to get to the real release. Tempest is the release. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And that might be it. Maybe this is just one long form song. You know, I don't know.
Fair enough.
That the record, because a lot of times they do weird sort of concept records and stuff like that. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe the whole thing has been building up to the Tempest. The release is
The Seven Empest.
Yeah, the Sevempest. It's possible.
There's a ripping solo on this track. Like, it's got everything that the hard rock guy wanted, the metal guy wanted.
It's definitely the full Tool package,
Yeah.
all wrapped up into a 15-minute track.
And it's still huge, but it doesn't feel as bloated or as pensive. Yeah.
Yeah. By the end of that 15 minutes, you're like, I'm in. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it closes out like the rest of the album plays, so it's got that little soft ending, and just it's a nice little way to round it off. And then they stick
The mocking
beat in there for no reason.
Yeah, I just went over my head.
We're in the jungle.
I didn't really get it.
You know, Tool does weird art stuff, and I feel I was listening to this on the way here one last time, and I was like, is he scraping? Like, is that actual bird sound like him pick scraping a guitar with a particular like?
Sure.
I feel like they do stuff like that all the time, where they're doing something interesting with their guitars, like they're pick scraping, or you know, the intro to Eulogy on Anima is famously him sort of picking the strings at the top of the nut of his guitar, so it's a non-note. But they do stuff like that all the time, and I feel like this is one of those things where they were goofing around and said, hey, this sort of sounds like a bird.
Yeah.
Let's write a song around this. And yeah, it's a weird, what is it called, mocking beat?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a weird way to end the record. But yeah, I haven't had time to digest what I think it means. But I mean, that's the problem with Tool records, is I'm never sure what they mean in the end anyway. So.
Sure. So,
or whether I'm supposed to figure it out, I assume not.
fair enough. So you listen to this on Spotify, correct? No?
No, I buy my records on digital.
Okay.
So I think I bought it on Apple Music for $10 or $12 or whatever, and that's where I've been listening to it on my phone. I don't have Apple streaming.
Okay.
Because that's bullshit. But I still buy everything on iTunes like a goddamn caveman.
Right on. I got this one on YouTube. Let's pour this beer before I get into the production
Is this that
complications.
Sumatran?
So it's the coffee brown, which was the Sumatran brown
I'm
ale.
actually excited about this.
Imperial brown ale brewed with Sumatra coffee, aged in bourbon barrels. So this is the newest
Version of it?
barrel series Founders beer, and we have not tried it right now.
Correcto. See, correcto. I'm fucking excited.
So has
And it's appropriate, right? It's still, what, morning-ish? I think it's past noon now.
Noon 39
But coffee.
on Labor Day.
speaking of which, big news in the Founders front. Now 90% stake owned by a Mexican conglomerate, massive beer
Wait, really?
company.
Oh.
So Founders is no longer like independent craft Michigan brewery. They are now owned
They're now
by
Corona.
pretty much.
Really?
I don't think it's the Modelo company,
but it's something like
but
that.
it's an international gigantic corporation now, owns 90% of Founders. So the two original guys, they own each 5% still.
Was it a significantly higher amount before, or has it been at 80% already for a while, and they just sold 10 more?
I would have to look back into it. But yeah, so I believe like now if you look at like the list of, you know, independent craft breweries, Founders will like no longer be on the list because
That's a drag.
the majority is owned elsewhere. You know, but I think in business, I'm gonna shut up because I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's got to be hard, man. Like, you need to expand, you need to be profitable, you need to do all these things. Plus, they just recently, like happened earlier this year, I think, they acquired a big part of Avery Brewing Company in Colorado, so that you could brew all day IPA out west and distribute it more efficiently there. So there's just all kinds of things happening, and I'm not gonna act like I understand it all, but Founders we all love it, so whatever.
We'll see how it goes.
Cheers to getting through that album, boys.
Oh yeah.
So has Tool? Does this show a progression for them? Is it more of the same? Where do we go from here?
It's pretty tasty.
Hold on, real quick. It's like bourbony, vanilla-y.
It's a lot. There's a lot going on.
A little bit of coffee.
Vanilla.
Oh fuck, that's delicious.
That's fucking good. That's like
And the bourbon's nice too. Not too boozy, but it's there.
Yeah, there's a little bourbon spiciness.
oh, it's good.
And that's really good.
Kind of ice creamy finish. A melted chocolate ice cream finish. Fuck, it's good. God damn you, Founders, you're delightful.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I remember, as you said, I tried the Sumatran Brown. They had it on the last couple of years, but not the bourbon barrel aged version. That's really good.
It's really nice.
So tasty. Okay.
To answer your question, I feel like this is just a linear progression of Tool. I don't think it's more of the same because it's less, as we said, it's sort of less intense. It's more pensive. I mean, it's a record made by guys in their 50s instead of guys in their early 40s. Like, it's literally been over a decade since they.
This is fucking 12%.
Is it really?
11.9.
Holy
Goddamn.
smoke!
Yeah.
I know it's apples to pears, but did you have a good listen of the last Perfect Circle album?
Oh, dude, I love it.
I love it too.
It was a slow burn though. It took me a few listens. It's a lot like a Tool record for me. But after I listened to it 4 or 5 times, I was like, oh no, this is a shredder. The whole thing.
I fucking love that record.
You love that way more than you like this one. I can just tell.
Right.
I saw them live too when they came to was it the Fox last year? Or maybe it was Masonic Temple. But man, and I was sort of expecting because I wasn't super into the record at the time. I'd liked it, but I hadn't gotten super into it. But seeing them play it live too, I was like, oh no, all these songs are awesome. They're really good.
I really thought it was a tour de force vocal performance by Maynard on that one, and I was like, I know you can't expect the same thing. It's two very different bands doing two very different things, but like after what you get on that Perfect Circle album versus what you get on this Tool record, it was a little bit of a bummer for me that you just didn't get the variety, the ups and downs. I know Maynard is a more mature singer at this point.
Oh yeah. He's not ready. He's not willing to shred his voice as hard as he used to. That's for sure.
And I also know that like you serve the music, so you get what you get. But like I just feel like there's a couple tracks here that you could have done a little bit more something with.
He has also said, I mean, this was decades ago, but he's also said that Perfect Circle is the project he gets to sing on. He doesn't have to scream. He doesn't have to force intensity. He doesn't have to, a lot of people ragged on him when he was in the early days of Tool because they said he couldn't really sing. And so when he started Perfect Circle, it was like, he started it to say, look, I have a voice. I can sing. And that first Perfect Circle record, Murder Gnome, is just laced with gorgeous vocals and vocal harmonies. Paz Lachanton, the female bassist, doing harmonies. Like, it's nuts. It's choral. But yeah, and Perfect Circle has always been super vocal harmony focused. The guitarist, I'm blanking on his name right now, Billy Howardell. Billy Howardell writes all the music, and he does a lot of the vocal harmonies with Maynard, and they're awesome. But yeah, Tool's not like that. Tool's, and I think that shows. I think it shows that he's a standalone singer in Tool. He's got to do everything himself, and because of it, there's a ton of effects on the Tool vocals too. When you're listening, even on For Inoculum, he's doing weird. I mean, he does it in a lot of stuff where he's got like a bullhorn, or he's high pass filter. There's some sort of effect happening to sort of cloak his voice in a weird way.
In the opening track, the title track, he's layered. There's like a much lower version than his normal pitch. I don't know if they recorded two separate things and layered them. I
think so, yeah.
That's what it sounded like. That was cool, though.
He might be doing I don't know. During the anime years, he used to sing with 2 mics with different effects on the 2 volt. Like, he'd sing 2 mics to his voice and then have wildly different sort of vocal effects going on the 2 mics on a couple songs. But I haven't seen him do that live, and I don't think I've ever seen him do that live. And because I only started watching Tool live. I saw them first on Lateralus tour, I think. So 2001.
Right
That's the first time I saw him live.
So you said you are going to go to that show at Little Caesars, right?
I'm almost certainly going to go to that show. I mean, if I get tickets, even if I don't get tickets, I'll probably go to that show. I'll figure out a way. Too many of my friends are already talking about going to it, and yeah, I mean, I've seen Tool live 6 or 7 times now. Yeah, they're pretty awesome. I mean, they really just do album stuff. Like they don't go off book a lot. There's a couple songs where they have different breakdowns. So Stinkfist live is very different than Stinkfist on the record, for instance. The middle part has an extended drum solo with a lot of tablas. I don't know if you guys are savvy. Disposition, Reflection, and Triad, the 22-minute three movement song on the Endolateralus.
Whoa.
It's like a three song
It's
movement.
been years since I've spun that.
But Triad's the real jammy one. It's really just a guitar riff that's sort of holding on when Danny Carey's going insane. But there's a huge tabla solo in the middle, and one of my favorite Tool performances is when I saw them play with Danny Carey's tabla instructor. Like they had a guy come out in like tribal gear and just smash tablas for 4 minutes in the middle of that song, and I was like, this is cool. So that was different than the album performance, but a lot of times it's just them doing the album. I mean, what can you do when the songs are so...
Yeah, you don't have space for...
There's not a lot of space for improv. Although I will say, one of the things I like about Tool is that, the early Tool at least, they sink into a rhythm and they're in 5 and they're in 7 or they're 11, whatever. I like playing the drums to that because I'll find that guitar rhythm and then I can vamp on the drums and play in 13 or 11 or whatever. Sure. But later Tool, I can't do that because they're changing time, they're adding beats, they're just moving constantly. So I can't do that as much. I haven't really been into playing the drums to Tool since Lateralus. Lateralus is the last album I learned a bunch of the drum parts to, because 10,000 Days and this record, Inoculum, are both, the drums are, and Danny Carey has said that he feels he's a prisoner of time. I feel like he's less so on every record.
Sure.
Like he feels less caged by the...
He's getting closer and closer to transcending.
He's going to ascend. But I feel like he's just off the chain on these last couple records more than he ever has been, where he gets to do all sorts of and I can't. If I want to learn the songs on the drums, I would have to learn them note for note, and I don't want to do that. I want to vamp. I'll play in 7 for 6 minutes, but I don't want to learn note for note every little stutter stop and fill or whatever. That's not.
Sure. Well, I mean, you've been playing so many years, you're kind of beyond that. That would be for, let's back up this YouTube video and,
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
How'd you feel about production on this record? I did not care for it at all.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Joe Barresi, the producer. He's done their last couple. He's done the last couple Bad Religion records, too.
Bad Religion.
I'm a weird fan.
I thought it was way too percussion forward.
I mean, you're not gonna hear me.
He does a
I
bunch
can't
of
agree
wicked,
with that.
He does a bunch of wicked shit, though. I mean,
for me, that's why I'm there.
I agree, but it felt, the whole album felt really hollow to me, and it felt really percussion forward. And you got extremely clear separation in everything.
That's true.
The drums had almost no liveliness to them. It was very attack heavy, and I don't know, man.
You don't like the actual way the drums are mixed, necessarily.
Yeah, I really just didn't care for the production overall on this record.
I will say, I might agree that I don't like the way his toms are mixed in particular. I like punchier toms than he uses usually, at least as far as mix goes. But I do love his bass drum and his snare. And the fact that his snare is almost always off. He just doesn't play with snares anymore. He's just full on tribal. I love that. But yeah.
I don't know. I really do want to pick up the CD because I kind of want to hear it on that fidelity. Versus I ran the YouTube for this album, and I generally don't expect that to be the best way to listen to anything. But
YouTube? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of listening to stuff on YouTube.
But it did bother me. Adam's a huge production snob, so I'm sure.
Where you at?
No comment. I love what Tool does. It's as I mentioned, it's all about the rhythm for me. I don't think that Maynard's particularly interesting on here. And outside of 2 circumstances, I don't think the guitars really were doing a whole lot for me. But goddamn, that the bass and the drums are
They
they fill so much space. It's
And actually, I will say, I know that Adam Jones isn't super flashy on the record, the guitar player. But man, he picks his spots, and in every song he finds something rad to do. You know what I mean? Like there's a guitar solo, or there's a crazy rhythm where he gets to just, I don't know. I've always loved the way Adam Jones sort of sinks into that mix with them. And I know he's not, like I said, he's not Jimmy Page or whatever, but man, I love the way he plays guitar.
I honestly thought at moments in this album, not for the entire hour and a half, but the moments here, it was just like I said, just spoon feeding. Like, you guys love the Tool sound, we're going to give you that, and the rest was either a little bit bloated or trying something new, or just showing their evolution as a group.
I feel it's more evolved than
It's a lot of interesting things going on. It's not boring. By saying it's bloated, it's just an hour and a half is a long time to sit. So there's really not a time where I'm sitting for like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, like wondering like when the next track is going to start. I don't mean it's bloated in that way, but it's an awful long time to sit down.
I think you're giving Tool fans a lot of credit if you think they're spoon feeding Tool fans what they want.
Some of the sections, man, I mean, it's like well, there is no mistaking that
Right.
like that's the Tool sound.
It sounds like a Tool album. It just felt like, for lack of a better term, it felt a little watered down. It felt like it was just spread out way more than other Tool records had been.
It's expansive.
It feels a little less concentrated and a little bit more just
and I'll
wide
agree
open
that
spaces.
I'll agree that Maynard's on this a lot less than I would like. I'd agree with that, but I mean, 10,000 Days is similar. Like he's less forward in the Tool mix. I feel like every record.
I'd agree on that. I just feel like the diversity in his styles is a little bit more there in previous Tool records.
Oh, I agree.
Just I would have liked a little bit more diversity.
I feel that there's more delineation now. So like, if you want intense Maynard vocals, now you go to Perfect Circle. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, and if you want more pensive sort of rhythm based prog, you're going to Tool. If you want, I mean, Puscifer's got that electro choral thing going on. They haven't released a record in a while. I'm sad about that, but I feel like he has enough projects now that he can almost delineate them more than he used to. Whereas before, if you wanted to sing an intense song about this, it's got to be Tool. Now he can do that on a Perfect Circle record. He doesn't have to do that on Tool anymore, which is weird to me because I always thought Perfect Circle was the poppier of the two. But that last Perfect Circle record is such a banger.
Fucking good, dude.
It's so good.
I love that record.
It's such a banger.
Al, do you remember? I think it was 2016. I was crazy about an album by a band called Source. And it was Return from Nowhere. Something very that's not it, but it's something very, very close to that. And it was basically these three guys wrote an album that was more or less based on like a Tool meets an Opeth sound. Do you recall that?
I don't.
It was like my top 3. I loved the album.
I'm listening.
I'll shoot it your way. You'll find it on streaming. I loved it because of the songwriting, and the approach was very much a Tool from the rhythm standpoint, and then more of an Opeth on the vocals and all that good stuff. The execution is a little bit meh, but the songwriting was what really intrigued me. I have no idea why I'm bringing this up, but I don't know. I guess because it's Tool and
Sure.
we're talking about it, it's cool, and I'm surprised I never mentioned it to you because you would. This is something you at least want to hear. I don't know if you love it, but you'll want to hear it. And speaking of Opeth, the couple of tracks that they've dropped for the new one sound really, really good. I mean, I thought Sorceress was really good a few years ago. This is sounding next level, so I'm excited about that. And I think that comes out end of September.
Opeth's pretty rad.
Very.
It's a fucking gauntlet of music for the rest of the year. Do you have anything left on the radar?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. When you're doing a YouTube project like I'm doing, all you can look at is the next country song you have to learn. All you can do is listen to Luke Combs' Ice Cold Beer Never Broke My Heart for 11 times in a week.
Oh, boy.
Sounds like a country song.
It's brutal.
In my ever-expanding list of what's coming out Like, dude, it's
You spun that new Alcest single, right? I sent that to you.
It's awesome.
Oh my god, dude.
That was really good.
Oh man, I'm like a 5-year-old on Christmas. Holy shit,
Yeah,
was that
sounds
good?
rad. I really like that vinyl you recommended, actually, that Alcest. Kodama?
Kodama.
Kodama.
Oh,
Whoa,
sir.
dude, I might get a Kodama tattoo. That album's so fucking good.
It's really good. I really enjoyed it.
I was so stoked when I found it.
Yeah.
Alcest Cloak Mayhem. I can't say it enough. It's gonna be one hell of a fucking Friday.
We've got Blood Red Throne. Not this week, but next week. I think next Friday. So, holy shit, that's huge. Rob Goldie.
There you go, man. Rob.
So, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. They've released like 2 or 3 even singles from the new Blood Red Throne. That'd be crazy, man. For Norway is always known for their black metal, not their death metal. Blood Red Throne is the opposite. They're all death metal, but they're from Norway. Oh my god, it's so good. Very excited for that one.
Hell yeah.
It's crazy. Like, we've had some huge albums already this year, and it's already winding down. We're going to be in fall here, pretty much any day now. But there's still some things that are scheduled to come out on the calendar that could steal the whole entire year.
September through November tends to be the glory part of the year.
Really?
In terms of releases. I find that usually ends up being the way it goes. I think it ends up being partially because that's when your year-end reviews come out and you give it reviewers enough time.
It's Oscar season?
Yeah, it's Oscar season.
For music?
Obviously, you don't put anything out in December just because everything shuts down and whatnot. But, like, if you stick your stuff at the beginning of the year, you're probably going to get looked over. If you have a summer hit, you're probably going to be...
It's weird how release schedules work.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be talking about Star Wars all December long, so you can't possibly.
I'm really, really hoping to get the fucking Silence EP out before the end of the year, but we'll see how that goes.
Don't fret, man. If it gets pushed to next year,
I really don't want it to push next year, though.
Because you guys got shows coming up, too?
Yeah, we're playing a couple shows at the Diesel. We're playing...
Oh, yeah. I've heard that place is awesome.
It's pretty dope, dude.
Nice.
It's really fucking funny. That place has been through so many fucking changes since I started playing.
Really?
It was... you familiar with the Ritz or Hot Rocks, as it's called now?
Yeah, I've seen the Ritz.
So the Ritz...
It's fun.
Right, before it was the Ritz, it was called New York, New York. And the guy who owned it bought out a space where the Diesel is inside of a pizzeria.
Okay.
And called that New York, New York. Changed the Ritz, or New York, New York, where the Ritz is now, or was. Fuck, dude. This whole timeline's fucking weird. Anyways, he had the space there. It's in this shopping center that's attached to a bowling alley.
Okay.
That had a single screen movie. So, it's... The front of the building is the pizzeria. There was a bar in the middle, and then a single screen movie theater.
Okay.
And it was 1, 2, 3, and then a bowling alley was attached to all 3.
There's a place like this in Waterford. This is weirding me out.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, you were telling me about that, I think.
So the pizzeria closed. They turned the single screen movie theater into a concert venue. Nice. So it's sloped like an old school movie theater.
That's what they did at this place in Waterford.
That's fucking nuts. So...
And they built a stage or whatever right at the end where the movie screen would be, yeah.
Yep. So they busted out one of the walls where the bar in the middle was. So the bar is a side stage. Nice. And it's a really cool fucking venue. The only problem is that it's out in fucking Chesterfield in the middle, like nowhere by the lake.
Chesterfield's tough. Chesterfield's tough.
So we're doing 2 shows there.
Nice.
So
yeah, I know a band out of Port Huron that I like called Desolation Alley. That plays Diesel a little bit.
Right on.
But yeah, they're a cool band.
It's a cool spot. It's one of those places that you kind of got to have a pretty...
I played a show with them about a year ago.
Yeah, you need a big show to play there. It's just a whole lot of fucking space.
Yeah.
To not fill out, so... Gonna be cool. I'm excited.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Hopefully the November show will be an album release party.
Were you guys playing in Flint soon? Did I see that or no?
No, we...
You played the Roadhouse, but you didn't...
played the Roadhouse a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's right. I missed that one.
It's all right. Don't sweat.
I had a show that night.
That one show that you came to was such a weird fucking night, dude. Our bass player had a baby.
Yeah.
And
you had a different bass player, right? Like
yeah.
Fill-in?
And dude, I was not in a good headspace for that fucking show at all.
I only saw your first song because I had to go play a show.
I appreciate you coming out to that.
I apologize.
Sorry if I was weird.
No, it's all right. But yeah, it was. I liked the opening band though. Far From Fiction, is that who it was? I actually saw them. Adam and I saw them at The Hazel Park place.
Yep.
With Locella.
That was a fun time. Lokella's fucking dope.
Lokella's amazing.
Lokella's excellent.
Dude, they're playing a show in October, and it's in Grand Rapids, and I'm like, God, can I make a road trip to Grand Rapids to see it?
Dude, any excuse to go to Grand Rapids is a good reason to go to Grand Rapids. I'll just say that.
I had an awesome time at that show, but man, I'll just come out and say it. When I go to a show, I like to openly have a few drinks, and that place needs a bar. They just need a bar. But it was very, very fun.
I don't know if they're going there. That's where we're playing on the 20th. But it's always been an all ages punk venue. You know what I mean? So, or underground art gallery or whatever. So they never have had booze. They just never gotten a liquor license.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're shooting for it. So yeah, it's a little sad. I like playing it, and they support local music. Like there's shows there every weekend, and they only do originals. They don't like to do covers, so you're only gonna see original.
I enjoyed playing Tekken on the PlayStation. That was fun.
That was so stupid. That was wild.
Tekken's a dope game though.
Was it Tekken 1? I don't even remember what we were playing.
I don't know which Tekken. It was definitely Tekken though. It was like when you hit the up button to jump. That's Tekken. That's how I think of it.
I don't care for many video games. I love Tekken.
Really?
Yeah.
I fucking love Tekken. Dude, I'm so bad at video games. I'm the fucking worst.
But he's like a mastermind though. Like he's not good at executing the game like with a controller, but he can describe to you what the strategy is.
Okay.
Like
this goes back.
It's amazing. We know each other.
Yeah. You've met before?
Just a couple times.
By the way, I don't know this man.
I never met this man.
Fuck.
I've been playing a brutal video game that is not metal, but it is brutal. I've been playing Mortal Kombat 11.
Mortal Kombat's kind of metal.
It's weird because it's just so violent.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. Though,
it is called Mortal Kombat.
It is.
Is Ash from Evil Dead in that? Is that what I heard?
No. They've canceled him. He's been canceled.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, he might be in future DLC packs, but he's been replaced by the Joker, I feel like.
They've done that before though.
Yeah, but there's a Joker now.
It's crazy that they're on 11. That's like, what?
Right.
Yeah, no, it's so dumb because I played through the storyline of the game and I'm like, this is so dumb. It's so stupid. But I will say it is a killer fighting game, like strategy-wise.
Sure.
They have everything laid out. Like I know more about fighting games now than I ever have before because the way that like the game works. It's like, oh, you can set a frame trap and you can do all this, and I'm like, I'm never gonna be good at this game.
Well, his brother-in-law is the fighting
he's
game master. He's next level.
Nice. I just do the Capcoms.
I never was a Street Fighter guy either. Yeah, I played Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 a lot. Those were good games.
Classic.
Yeah.
Gotta get that reptile.
That's right.
You need to hit anything else, sir?
That fucking Blood Red Throne, I'm so excited. Just a quick recap. The Equilibrium album I was so excited about. They're going apparently in more of a electronic, sort of industrial thing. Not really industrial, that's the wrong word, but not in the direction where it fits my taste. I'm sure other people are really excited about it. But it's funny that, handful of years ago they came out with what I thought was like one of the finest folk, like epic folk metal albums, and really they've just gone away from that now, and I think there's a slightly different lineup, so whatever. I mean, I'm not too sad about it, but I was disappointed by that because I was just really, really excited to see what was going to come next. I knew that it was a possibility that they would go in this direction, but wait for the next one.
Oh well.
It's not all bad. There's a couple of cool tracks, but it doesn't really do it for me.
Fair enough. Merlin, you got anything to plug?
Oh, yeah, probably. Oh, before we go, yeah, people should follow my YouTube channel if they want to watch me play acoustic guitar.
And you should.
Static Factory Band is the name of the channel, and I play. There's something on there you'll like. If you want Megadeth covers, they're there. If you want Static Factory's original rock and roll, it's there. If you want
Soundgarden, that was another good cover that you did.
I Fell on Black Days yesterday, yeah. Yeah, Chris Cornell's my spirit animal, so I play a lot of Chris Cornell. Have you guys heard the version of One he does?
No.
He does an acoustic version of
Metallica one?
Well, It's U2's One on guitar,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's singing the lyrics to Metallica's One
No shit.
while he's playing U2's One on guitar.
Whoa.
And it's
It's an interesting
fucking
combination.
awesome. And I've covered it a couple times now, but yeah, it's currently it's back in like June. I played it on bass and sang. My friend Dan played the guitar, but
Just crossovers everywhere.
it's so good. But anyway, yeah, you can find something on that YouTube channel. My band Static Factory is now woken from the dead. We're playing 2 shows. People should come and try to convince me that the new Tool record is bad, because it's not. But you should come and argue with me at my shows. I'm playing September 7th, so that's this Saturday in Lapeer at the Hitchin Post. All original. People say my band sounds like Tool, so you should come and try to tell me that Tool's bad.
Maynard's
Right.
not an influence at all.
Right before I scream your face clean off. And yeah, I'm playing September 7th at the Hitchin Post with a bunch of great bands, Ora Labora and Four Walls, and then September 20th we're playing in Hazel Park.
September 20th.
Yeah, the
We're gonna
Phoenix.
work on that.
The Phoenix 510 building. It's at 510 East 10 Mile, I think. But it's like an old warehouse. Adam's been there. It's a $10 cover for that show.
I played there.
Have you?
Yep.
It's a nice place. Actually.
Yeah, go across the street to the bowling alley, get your drink on, and then go over there.
Exactly.
That's what you do.
You could peruse the art gallery section as well. There's
yeah, the art gallery,
local
there's-
art there, which is cool. You bought some stuff because there was some cool shit there.
Yeah, I've bought artwork there. But yeah, we're playing that show. My friend Brooke Pridemore is coming from New York to play solo acoustic, sort of doom folk.
Doom folk.
Oh, he's awesome.
Excuse me while I go masturbate. Doom
Yeah.
folk.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He's into like sludgy stoner metal, but he plays solo acoustic. But he uses a lot of effects pedals, and so he gets pretty gnarly.
I want to see that.
Yeah, he's fun. He's kind of the headliner. He's playing third, I think. My friends Rushmore Pass from Flint are opening, and there's another band called Sweet Demon that I don't know anything about that's probably closing the show down. So, but that'll be a good show,
Oh yeah.
and I'm excited for it. And then I've got other shows. I'm playing the drums. I'm a hired gun drummer now, I guess. So I'm playing a show. I'm playing a Halloween show at my Outlaw Bar
Uh-oh.
for a band called Sybil and the Beast, I think, in October 26th in Flint. Yeah, I'll be out. I'm playing a nursing home show if you want to see me play
There you go.
Buddy Holly covers and Beatles.
I'm into that.
Perfect.
All you
Can we
have
go
to
to that
do-
one instead of the
Yeah.
Phoenix show?
Let's get that
In
mosh pit
November.
There you go. I love it. Get that morphine drip going.
going. Lou, take some oxygen.
On that fucking note.
Oh, and Predatory Lenders.
Yeah.
We'll see the stickers around Ferndale for sure.
Wow. It's the
What?
good stuff. Don't worry,
Keep
it's fine.
telling
It's
the
fine.
frames
It's
are
fine.
being
It's fine. Don't
dropped.
worry about it. It's there. I promise it's there.
And thank you for bringing back the unique beers from
They're weird.
Harbor Springs.
Yeah, dude, those are fucking
The
interesting
the
as
Scotch ale was freaking delicious.
really
This
good.
one is super unique. I'm glad to be trying it.
I am too.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Thanks for having me, fellas. I appreciate
Dude.
it.
Cheers.
You are welcome back any fucking time. I believe you are the most prolific guest on Lumberslayer and Friends podcast.
Really?
So
Well, it's not Sean from Draft Therapy. I've heard him a few times.
I think he's only done 2.
Sean's my boy.
Has Sean done 2 or 3?
I like your discussions with
2.
Sean.
2. Yeah, yeah. You're winning. Merlin's winning. We should get the both of you guys on there. That'd be a fun one. White dudes with beards. It's gonna be great.
Man, between the 4 of us, I think we tried every beer in Michigan. It's like,
Oh, wow. That's maybe true.
That's good shit. So for this week's Lumberslayer and Friends podcast, I have been Alex Lumberslayer along with
Adam Friedman.
and
Merlin.
I will see you. You can do anything you like.
Well, now you have gone too far.
That might be as good as we're going to get.
A preposterous.
Oh, there you go.
Finale sucked. That's all you need to know.
I don't think it's gonna be a problem. It's not like it's a featured issue.
It just vibrates a little more than or whatever, but it's super flexible. But it's like $6.